Hello and welcome to the weekly update show. My name is Brandon.
I'm Darren.
And today on the show, we have a bunch of interesting AI updates, as I think we usually do from now on.
Yeah, it seems to be the topical issue. But before we get going, do you notice anything about me? Anything?
A scarf?
Yeah, I'm wearing my red scarf. Do you know what that means?
What?
Christmas is 5 weeks away, baby. 5 weeks away. It's also red, so I don't have a poppy. I noticed that you're wearing one because today in Canada, it's Remembrance Day as well, right? So you're wearing the red poppy as well. So looking forward to this show. And like you say, AI is the thing right now for sure. So some interesting things happen.
First, I think big news. OpenAI released some statistics on its users, and it has reportedly reached 1 million business customers, and it has apparently 800 million weekly normal regular users.
Yeah, it's becoming a juggernaut, right? It's one of the big 4 or 5 in this field now of AI. We'll talk about others later in the presentation. But OpenAI, a lot of people who are they? Well, they own ChatGPT. They own DALL-E, Sora. It's that organization that's doing that. So they are growing like by leaps and bounds. And I think they just, if I'm not mistaken, they just got a $500 million assessment on them, right? Like they're estimated to be a company that worth $500 billion, or was it billion? No, I think it was 500. I can't remember. It's one of those two. No, 500 million.
I feel like it's probably more expensive.
Like it's just unbelievable, right? Like, but they're one of the big juggernauts for sure. So that one really doesn't surprise me.
So I guess if you are a user of the internet, if you're someone who's in productivity or you're a business entity and you're not using software like this, I think the risk might be, what advantages does your competition have over you?
And that's what's going on right now, right? Like it's interesting to see, like the other challenges is that there's so many different AI options out there, right? Like OpenAI is just one of many. Which one do you pick, right? Because which one do you use? I mean, what are you going to pay for? You can't pay for all of them because it'll cost you too much money unless you're a multi-million-dollar company or something. But but this is true. Like what they're finding now with businesses, and it depends upon the type of business, but you know, those businesses that are integrating AI into their business planning, it appears, we'll have to wait and see what the research says, but it appears that they may have an advantage over those who
don't. Most certainly. Right? Part of the updates we saw last week was Gemini. Their deep research component of their Gemini platform, which is kind of designed to do more contextual, more thought-provoking, thought-producing content generation. They announced that they're allowing Gemini, upon your approval, to get context based on looking at your Gmail, your email, your documents in Drive, and even if you're using Google's chat features, their Gemini AI platform can now actually pull data from all of that stuff.
Now, Google owns Gemini, right?
Yes.
So a lot of that stuff that is already in your Google Docs, Google Drive, and Google Chat, Google is already scanning. So we already know that from the past, right? When we look at legacy. Right?
Makes sense.
The legacy stuff. So now the question is now that they're giving Gemini, their AI LLM, large language model, the ability to go in there and do the same thing, they're probably using it to help train Gemini. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Yep.
Right? But now, what kind of privacy issues does that create? And does it allow Google now, because they're going to be collecting all of this information and using AI, to direct more targeted surgical type of advertisements towards you as the end user.
You mentioned they already have the data anyways and using it.
They do.
Now you as a user can use your own data to your advantage.
Yeah, but don't you think it also gives them the ability to send more direct surgical advertising going your way, which is...
But they already have all the data.
What
more are they going to get from you?
They do, but what AI does now, I think what it does is it kind of allows them very quickly to really condense it and synergize it. Like, I think that this is going to be really attractive to companies that Google wants to entice to pay them to advertise their specific product.
Like advertising in the Gemini platform.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So, no, I can see that.
Right? So that's what's going to be interesting about that, right? Is, again, like I know that, like, a good example, OpenAI that we just spoke about, they have AI agents that if you allow them to go into your calendar, into your contacts list, they can, like, book hotels and flights and all that kind of stuff for you.
But the problem with that is that it requires you to do you have to give it API access.
Yeah.
So you have to connect it to your other accounts. So like OpenAI can connect to your Google platforms, but those connections are still somewhat limited.
Do you see what's going on though with the AI companies right now? They're now fighting amongst one another where they're trying to prevent competitive AI competitors going into their products to scan their products to train their LLMs, right? Yep. Like it's very interesting, Google, right?
Why wouldn't you just like block OpenAI from using your API access?
Well, and that's what
wouldn't that be the smart move?
I think that's what's going on, right? Like I love reading this stuff, right? A lot of people, I'm that 61-year-old boomer who still stays engaged by reading this stuff. It absolutely fascinates me, but it's interesting to see what's going on right now because all these AI programs up to this point in time have basically hoover as in vacuum.
Yep.
They've sucked up all the information there is online already. Like everything that's there, they've already hoovered it up, right? So now they're trying to figure out ways to hoover up more stuff, and because it'll give them an advantage. So if they're one of the largest platforms like Google, why wouldn't I want to block the API access to OpenAI to have access to the information that I'm collecting on my platform to give me an advantage?
No, that makes sense. I get that. I wonder. I think maybe Google at the end of the day might actually win the AI race.
I know, like you said that earlier, and I went, I don't think so. Like I still think OpenAI is like they're disrupting, right, big time. However, Google, they're kind of like the tortoise to a degree. The rabbit always, they always don't win, right? Google has been around a long time. They've got a lot of infrastructure in place. And I don't see them breaking things using their Gemini as much as OpenAI. Like OpenAI is moving fast and like
I see Google's AI is more integrated more effectively in the Google products.
Yeah.
And Google products are already kind of winning the general like who doesn't have a Gmail account?
Like,
who is not using Google Drive? Who is not using Google Search? Who is not using YouTube? Google owns all of that.
Well, Google Search was losing some market share to OpenAI, especially with the younger generation who are now using OpenAI, ChatGPT, basically as a surgical Google, right?
Yes.
So that's why Google has now integrated Gemini into their searching products. But I think it was you that was telling me, isn't like Apple, like they're in trouble here, right? Like they're
oh yeah, I think I saw last week they signed a deal with Google so that they will have an offshoot of Gemini that will be their Siri.
Because everybody's saying like
Apple is
Siri's Apple is like
Siri is not all that smart. Siri is pretty lackluster in its ability. Now, when it first launched, it was good. Yeah. Right? It was like, oh, you have a kind of somewhat AI assistant, not really quite AI, but Apple, I think, is losing the AI race. Even they're pushing this AI intelligence, it's really not that great.
And it really surprises me, right? Like, you got to wonder why that happened, because was it because they were the biggest and baddest and therefore just kind of sat back on their laurels a little bit and kind of waited for others to see where this is going? But to their detriment. But it's kind of funny because when you look at, remember the old battles, PC versus Apple. Remember those, right? And it was basically Google against Apple. That's basically what it was. There was that rivalry back and forth, right? many years
Microsoft
ago, or
back
Microsoft,
then.
right?
Yeah.
But even Google, right, to a degree, they were trying to, Safari versus Chrome, right, kind of thing. But isn't it interesting now that Apple is now turning to Google in order to assist them on their implementation of an AI product?
Apple doesn't innovate quickly.
But when they do innovate, they do a good job.
When they launch something new, it generally is quite groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Like when they launched the first iPhone, when they kind of, I guess their VR headsets, not all that groundbreaking because they weren't the first. But Apple really hasn't done a whole lot of like innovation.
Yeah.
No. They're processing chips, like they're Apple silicon chips.
Yeah.
Okay, that pretty cool. That's a good innovation, but.
Right. And their innovation around privacy by design and stuff like that, right?
Which maybe that's what's hindering their AI.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anyways, I think Google, at the end of the day, will probably win the AI race. Because it has the infrastructure and that open
Don't forget, don't count out Grok, right? Like with Elon Musk and stuff, doing what he's doing.
Okay, that platform could win because it's just unhinged. In that, okay, you have OpenAI and Google putting limitations. Yeah. The X Grok version, they don't care. It's unlimited power.
That's a good example of a company that's moving lightning fast and don't care what they break, right? Yeah. When you look at their data center, the Colossus, right, that they're building, which will be one of the largest data centers in the world. It's going to give them computing power like nobody else. So this is why there's this real battle going on right now as well. So, but I wouldn't count out AI. So again, there's about 4 or 5, or what about, what is it? Starts with the A. Yeah, I'm having a brain fart right now. The other AI company.
Perplexity?
No, well, maybe that's who it is. Anyways, there's 4.
Llama?
No, there's 4. Llama is owned by Meta, right? So, but that's all right. There's 4 to 5 big players out there right now. So, it's really easy to see who's jockeying, because the reality is they're all rushing to super intelligence, right? And whoever gets there first, right? They'll have the biggest payday.
Well, Google also is improving its usage by the Notebook LM mobile app version will be able to generate flashcards and quizzes based on the materials and content that you put into it. We actually talked about Notebook LM last week, and now they're adding additional features, which if you're a student, if you are a business professional, and you're needing to spend time doing research on something or collating a bunch of different materials, some different white papers or documents together, you could plop it all into LM and get all that stuff done.
You're the academic in this company, right? Like you're the one who's got the master's degree. I got a degree in life, but anyways, back on topic. But as an academic, like I know that a lot of academics love Notebook LM. And why is that?
The literature review is important. A big part of academics is you got to read and catch up on what all the other experts in the field you're looking into are saying. Mm-hmm. So it often requires you collecting a big stack of PDFs and then reading them all and then trying to figure out how they connect to each other. And researchers talk to each other, not through a DM on like a text message. They talk to each other through published PDFs.
That in us journals. Mere mortals can't understand. But anyways, go ahead.
That's how they talk to each other officially. So that's basically, it's like having different Discord chats or servers, and you have to like figure out what they're all saying to each other. It's complicated. So models like this, programs like this, basically do all that labor for you.
I know that Julia Hellinger, a professor working on her PhD right now, up at RRU, who we consult with, and VIU, Vancouver University. She has done just a ton of work on Notebook LM. She does a bunch of teaching to teachers, right? But it seems like from the academic standpoint, this is one of the more favorite, at least as a layperson. That's what I see them. But it's interesting that they're doing this, right? Because again, what a great way to get ready for a test coming up if you're a university.
Yep. Now, another reason why I do think
this one's kind of cool.
Google
This one's cool.
may actually win out this AI race.
This one's cool.
Is they're adding Gemini with Google Maps, which we kind of mentioned last week as well. But in addition, now you can actually talk to your map app to get more information about the place you want to go. You can also get contextual turn-by-turn directions. So typically when you're driving, you get the turn left in 500 meters. I don't know. Who knows how far 500 meters is? Or feet, or whatever metric you wish to measure your distance in.
You can't guesstimate what 500 meters is?
Well, yes, but okay, if you're in like maybe a dense city,
Okay.
and there's a street and a street and a street,
Yeah, okay.
and you got turn 500 meters, like, okay, which street and
Or
how
which
many
alley,
times
yeah.
have I missed a turn because I thought, oh, turn left in these many meters, and then I miss it because I thought it was too soon or too early. So you can use contextual features, and they can tell you, turn left at the McDonald's on the right. Oh, cool. You look for the big giant M, that's where you turn, because street signs are just so tiny.
Yeah.
So that's actually a really cool feature.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this. Like, I think, again, Apple Maps, which was cool when it first came out, right? Like, it truly was.
Well, Apple Maps had some issues.
Yep, for sure.
Apple Maps kind of sucked when it launched.
That's true, but it kind of fixed itself.
Yes, true.
But Google Maps and some of the things that they're doing, and with the integration of Gemini right now, is going to be very interesting. Again, what's going to be interesting to watch is how Google is going to be able to monetize that, right? Like, if all of a sudden
they already do with preferred ads and placement, like certain restaurants.
I know,
you can
you've noticed that, right? Like,
Maps.
I've noticed that where all of a sudden you're maybe looking at an Android phone and a Google phone, you're driving, all of a sudden one shows a McDonald's and the other one doesn't, right? Like, how does that happen? Well, because McDonald's is paying this one to make sure that they pop up on their map, right?
But that's the benefit Google has, because they have this robust map feature that OpenAI doesn't.
Yeah.
They have Google Street View, where Google has scanned via cars and cameras most streets in North America that, of course, OpenAI does not have.
Right.
So again, I do think Gemini might win this AI race.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty soon we won't need maps because we'll have the teleporter like they do in Star Trek.
That'd be nice.
Where we'll just beam to the location.
That'd be nice. Okay, so Apple's slow, but they do have some updates. Their live translation app, where you can have live conversations with someone in a different language, they're adding more languages that are available to communicate in. So,
show me.
Show you?
Show me. Show me. Because you know what? Google does the same thing on their Translate, and it's very live, very real, almost very little time delay. And OpenAI with ChatGPT kind of does the same thing, right? Like, I think I shared last week where a teacher was using ChatGPT. She has a student from the Ukraine who's here because of what was going on in the war, doesn't speak very good English. So she was using... Is that me?
Yeah, apparently it's you. That's what you said in Spanish, apparently.
So it took what I said in English and translated it into Spanish. Very cool. Right? But the teacher in the Ukraine, in Victoria, or here in British Columbia, who was talking to the Ukrainian student, was using ChatGPT to speak English. That immediately translated into Ukrainian. The student in Ukrainian was able to answer back, and that immediately translated it back to English, almost real time. So they were able to have this back and forth communication that just wouldn't have happened, right? So again, I think that's kind of cool.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
Cool.
All right, well, that's the latest update for Apple and AI. They really don't seem to be innovating a whole lot.
No.
But okay, good news for Apple users. Soon you'll have Gemini. Okay. Here's
bad idea.
Here's AI idea for you.
Bad idea.
Tinder, the popular dating app, looking at launching Chemistry, which will get to know users through conversational prompts with their permission, and it will look at the user's camera roll, their photos on their phone, to learn about their interests, personality, It's currently live in Australia and New Zealand, and Tinder plans to roll it out in more countries in the coming months.
Bad idea. Like, why would you ever want a dating app to have full access to your camera roll?
Well, it's not like the other people get to see your photos.
No, but Tinder does.
It's their AI model gets to see that.
And so what you're basically doing is, again, they're hoovering up all the pictures that you have on your device for the purpose of training their AI. And why would I want to do that with Tinder? Why would I want to do that with anybody? But are you kidding me?
Is there a possible usability feature here where you could find a better match?
Absolutely. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete all my pictures off my phone, and I'm going to take as many screen captures as I can of Tom Cruise. I'm going to put it in my camera roll, and then I'm going to join Twitter or Tinder. And then when they scan all the pictures, it's going to be of Tom Cruise, not me. And then I'll see what I get.
Photos such as six packs.
Yeah, instead of a keg, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just, this is
photos of lifting weight.
This is just a bad idea, right? Like, especially to a dating app who's had issues surrounding security and safety, right? Like, come on. Anyway,
well,
just my thoughts.
Right. I guess there is a usability feature here where you could find a better match, but at the same time, like you said, I wonder if people could gamify that.
Oh,
upload it.
Not if. When?
Yeah, true.
Right?
Anyways.
When?
Probably not the best idea, but that is a possible future. Yeah. As the year is coming up to an end, security researchers get to review all the data breaches where all the passwords that have been leaked this year, and it's the yearly end update. Yeah. So we get to see some of the top used passwords that were leaked on the internet.
Okay,
which can give you an idea that many passwords were probably, these are what people use.
All right. Are we living in Groundhog Day here? Because it's the same list that we see every year, right? It's like, come on, people. Like, how long have people like us and others in our industry said, don't use password 123456 or QWERTY or admin or password as your password? Like, don't do it.
Apparently Minecraft's popped up in the top list recently.
Oh, God. Like 7,618,192 accounts identified that use a password 123456.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why there are so many data breaches and frauds going on, right? Like, people, are you kidding me? So, Brandon, please explain to those who are watching what they can do to create a better, more secure password.
Oh, make sure they're 6, 7, or 8 or more characters long. Include a capital, include a lowercase, add a number, use a symbol. Be the dollar bill sign. A lot of people like that sign.
But Brandon, how do I remember all that?
Oh.
I've got 10 accounts. And you tell me that I should have 10 different passwords on each account. Brandon, I'm 60 years old. I've got a senior brain. I can't remember all those passwords.
Well, if your brain can handle a password manager, use one of those. But if you can't...
What's a password manager, Brandon?
Oh, it's an app that you put your passwords in more
Such
securely.
As?
Well, Google has theirs. Apple has their keychain. There are third-party ones as well. But if you're someone who can't handle a password manager app, I guess the next best thing would be a book with your passwords. Not the best idea, but hey, at least they're all different.
Yeah. I mean, it's people wonder why, right? Wonder why their phones, their accounts, their emails, their Amazon accounts are getting hacked, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
Yep. So don't have any passwords that are these.
Yeah, don't do it.
If you do,
bad.
You're in big trouble.
Bad.
Okay. I came across this opinion piece last week, and I thought it was very relevant.
Yeah, I missed that one. What's this one all about?
So, life hacker columnist David, they spent some time just using Chromebook as their daily driver, as their everyday device.
Okay, so laptop. Just for people know, who makes Chromebook?
Google.
Right? So it's a Google product.
Again, this is the Google show today.
I know.
So they use it as a daily driver. And they had some pretty positive impacts. They found it cut down on the amount of clutter.
Okay.
Because a Chromebook or Chrome OS is very limited. Okay. It's kind of like running the Chrome browser, but locally on your device.
Okay.
So you don't have all the bells and whistles and features and apps like you do on a Windows device or a Mac OS device.
Yep.
Everything is saved instantly because it's synced automatically with your Google account,
okay.
your notes, your Drive, your email. Everything's put on the web, so you could basically break your Chromebook and just get a new one, and everything just magically pops back in. And if you're already highly integrated into the Chrome ecosystem, like the Google products of Drive, email, and YouTube, it just works. And it provided them a more distraction-free environment because they were more limited. They weren't bombarded with advertisement or pop-ups like you typically get on other devices.
Okay, so if I am more privacy oriented and don't want the Google Uberlord to be collecting all my data, I can't be using Brave on the computer. Or can I?
I think you're stuck with Chrome.
You're stuck with Chrome. So, I mean, that's the downside, is that, again, you're locked into an ecosystem that's not necessarily privacy designed, but there are benefits that you spoke about.
You generally get the security benefits of Google.
Yeah, which you talked about.
This came to mind for me because the other week I was helping my grandfather, your father-in-law.
Which happens more often than not.
And he got a new computer.
Yeah.
And it's Windows, and Windows kind of is sucking lately. Apparently a lot of their code is AI, apparently, some people have determined. And every update seems to break something. But anyways, so all he really does is use Chrome, go on Facebook, check his email, play a game that's available as a plugin on the Chrome browser. So I'm like, okay, just get a Chromebook as your next device because it's extremely hard to break it.
And that's where I'm going with this, right? Like if it's for, because Apple products, privacy, great, but they're expensive.
Privacy by default, but you can subvert that privacy pretty quickly.
Right. But if you're but they're still expensive. Like Chromebooks are dirt cheap, right? Like you can pick them up pretty cheap right now.
Yeah, you
right?
get for
a couple $100
$300-ish for an actual decent one that will last you longer.
How much is a MacBook?
Entry level?
Yeah.
Probably like $1,000. Like
exactly.
entry no MacBook, no. So the Mac Mini is the best, most powerful, cheapest device you can get.
Right.
But doesn't have a screen or a keyboard.
Yeah. So but there's where the money is. So where I'm going with this is that a Chromebook for a senior is a good example, or somebody who maybe isn't going to be doing any kind of a lot of personal stuff online, like Papa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chromebook would probably be the better way to go.
Also not a bad idea as a young person.
That's where it's also got. That's one of the reasons why a lot of schools will go with them, because they're cheap. But the problem with that though is that although schools will implement network security while the Chromebook is connected with the network at the school for filtering and monitoring purposes, one of the challenges is that when the child leaves the school with the Chromebook, if it's a one-to-one school where they get it and then they leave,
it depends.
It
depends. Sometimes security is built in the device itself. Schools can handle Chromebooks very differently. There are best practices.
Like there's a lot of times, here's the challenge though, right? Like we've helped a number of parents where the child brings the Chromebook home and parents are trying to go in to put some software on there to help protect it, and they can't because the administrator, and therein lies the challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because the school owns and controls it, and you as a parent cannot change school property.
And then another parent said, well, I went to this school and said, well, we'll buy our own Chromebook and you don't have to give my child a Chromebook. I'll just give my own Chromebook. And then how about you let them come to school with it and they can use, and the school said no, because if they're bringing their own device, we don't know what may be on that device. Therefore, network, bad things. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Right? It's interesting.
So interesting idea for people who are not familiar with the Chrome mobile ecosystem and you're looking for something simpler compared to Windows or Mac. might be an interesting option.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I found this super cool. All right. So SanDisk, which makes like portable USB storage drives, they're releasing a 1 terabyte USB flash drive for about $120 American.
Okay.
And it is super tiny and it's designed to live just plugged into your laptop on the side.
Okay, so I asked you because I saw you were so excited. I said, that's not really a big deal to me, right? Like, why is this a big deal? Why are you so excited?
I think this is a big deal for, I don't know, Apple folks, because Apple charges an absurd amount for increasing your storage space. And you have to buy all your storage space up front because it's all integrated. You cannot upgrade later. So you buy a terabyte hard drive size from Apple today, but you need 2 terabytes in a week. Well, sorry, you have to get a whole new device.
And whatever you're downloading into the Apple product goes into their cloud.
Right? It could if you enable iCloud.
Right.
I think iCloud is only limited to 2 terabytes though at max.
Whereas this just stays right on the disk.
Yeah. So I don't know. A lot of tech enthusiasts were talking because it's about the size of like
A thumbnail.
like the end of a thumb kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just sticks at the side of your laptop, and it's just instant 1 terabyte for $120. Like for like that's American. Now Canadian, if you want to buy
2 million.
Okay, fair enough.
Especially with the tariffs that we've been hit with.
Apparently, our dollar has been increasing recently. I saw.
Yeah.
So yay.
Yeah.
Although that's before the budget drops.
Exactly. And we get hit with a further tariff from our brothers and sisters to the south of us.
But for Apple, when you want to upgrade to an extra terabyte, it can be $600-ish for just an instant additional terabyte upon ordering. So for what, $120, you just instant terabyte.
It'll be interesting to see. It's like anything else. Let's see how robust this thing is, right? Like, let's see once users get a hold of it and start playing with it. Let's check back. We should diary date that one and have a look back in 6 months and say, oh, you know what? This thing held up pretty good. Or, you know what? Within a month, they were crashing.
That is the issue. I do have one potential criticism. It is a little chunky. I have seen USB flash drives that are pretty much flat to your laptop.
Yeah.
But they're only about 120 gigs or something. Mm-hmm. But they're like flat, like they're flush to the laptop.
Yeah.
This is
chunky.
So
yeah, it's.
I am a little worried about traveling with that. If it fall out or break.
Well,
or
if you're traveling, just unplug it, right? Like, come on.
But they've designed it so you keep it in all the time. If you're unplugging, you just get an extra.
Yeah, but if you got this 1-inch nipple sticking out from the side of your computer, guess what? It's like you're going to get snagged on something if you're traveling and break off. But my bigger concern is how robust is this sucker going to be? Right? Like, let's wait 6 months. It's like anything new. One of the things I always say, we said this about Atlas, right? OpenAI Atlas last week, where, you know, they're coming out with this new browser and everybody's raving about it. But you know what? We mentioned last week how these security people are just saying, well, hold on a second here. There's some significant flaws that everybody needs to know about. Like, so when this stuff comes out, I still think that the best thing to do is to take a wait approach. Like, wait half a year, 6 months. Let's let it go through its testing in real world application rather than the beta that these companies do that say, okay, we're good to go. And then all of a sudden you plug it in and within 3 hours, your computer's on fire or something because it's overheated, right? Like,
I suppose, but if you're looking for like a tech tip, if you want, and if you're looking for something portable that has a lot of extra storage, might be an interesting option.
See, that's the difference.
As a practical takeaway.
I think that's a generational thing between my generation, boomer, 6 years old, and your generation, 30 years old, where we're probably a little bit more cautious and questionable on this stuff, whereas you guys are more, hey, this is great, let's go, woohoo, here we go, right, kind of thing.
But aren't you also the generation that will buy fake blood medication online because of sponsored ads that were fake?
Not me. But yeah. I actually did an article.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. Whatever. What else we got?
AI-powered smart ring designed for on-the-fly voice. This one's interesting. So it's called the Stream Ring. Comes in sizes between 5 to 13, and it's designed to live on your finger. It's going to cost about $250 American with a subscription. Okay? But it's designed to basically be a note-taking device that's always on you.
Okay.
The reason why is because a lot of people, they have their phones in their pockets. They want to take a voice note. You have to take out your phone, maybe actually turn it on, do a face scan ID or type in your password, open your voice note app, and then proceed through taking your note. This is designed to be like a single button press. Hey, buy eggs at the store today.
Okay.
Done. Easy.
Okay, you ready for me?
Yeah.
Okay, two things. Glasses, Meta glasses can do the same thing, right? Tap it that way. So that's one thing. And you can do way more things with some of these smart glasses coming out. Number one. Number two, if I've got ear pods in, I can, and my phone's in my pocket, tapping, I can still access the voice.
But can you access the voice note? Like, is it a seamless sort of like immediate, like write it down right away? This is designed to be fast and efficient.
So, like, where would you use it?
If you are a business professional, if you're working on a creative project, if you're someone who
comes up with ideas in the shower.
Yeah, you just have on your ring, go, hey, I have to get a shower, you're dripping wet, walk over to your phone, open it up, and all that stuff.
You get up in the middle of the night because you had a dream and went, aha, I figured out how to make $1 million. Right?
Yeah. Oh, how many times does that happen? You wake up and you want to write something down, but you're too sleepy.
I know.
But instead you just press a button and yeah. Anyways, interesting idea. They do have, it's a $10 a month fee for their pro subscription, which enables unlimited chats, immediate access to new features, and says your data is encrypted.
Okay, I'm going to make another prediction.
Okay.
I think this ring is going to go by the way of the dodo bird. Why? Because we know that OpenAI is working on creating this wearable right now that will replace phones and screens. So as a result of that, this thing will become redundant, right? Now, OpenAI says that they're hoping to release that next year. Whatever this is, and everybody's waiting with bated breath. That's the other reason why I'm predicting, as well as others, that cell phones, the traditional smartphone as we know today, also become, I'm saying within 5 years. Some are saying longer, some are actually saying less time, because wearables appears to be where we're transitioning. You know, where the iPhone was the change maker, was the one that was created this change, this transformation. I think wearables are now going to be.
Is the wearable going to be glasses?
Don't know.
Or is the wearable going to be a ring?
We don't know.
Is it going? Well, people have tried a pin. That didn't work so well.
That was I/O.
That didn't work so well.
Yeah, no.
What is that wearable going to be?
That's what everybody's wondering, right? Like because OpenAI is staying very, very close mouthed, and they hired the person from Apple that created to big money to design this thing. Now, just reading some current articles on this, apparently they've run into a little bit of some friction on how to get this thing to work properly or do something. There's
probably battery life.
I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. Like some people have hypothesized it's going to be something that goes behind. Right? Not into your ear, because there's already patents out there on products that you can put in your ear. This one, apparently, people are saying it'll just hook behind your ear and kind of go down here. Kind of like, you know, those earphones that you now wear that use bone conductivity, kind of an idea. So it's going to be interesting, but they said that it won't have a screen. So now my question is, well, how am I going to use it? Google Maps, right? Like if I'm going to use it, because I use my phone all the time to go to places.
I use my Google. I don't always look at the screen when I'm driving for Google. Sometimes I'll just use the audio indications because it will tell you, oh, turn left now, or turn left in 5 stops.
In 500 meters.
Or 500 meters, right? Yeah. Or turn left at the next 2 lights or something. Yeah. So there is a lot of audio feedback you yet.
It's going to be interesting, right? Like it really is. Like Meta's put all their money into glasses are going to be the way to go. Like that's where they're all in on that.
Yeah, but they have to partner with like Ray-Bans,
right?
Because it's harder for them to produce their own hardware
right now.
Right.
But that's where they're all in. And there's other companies that are kind of doing the same thing where they think glasses may be going, but
But that's where Google again has that advantage because Google is already in the hardware production space.
I know. It's going to be interesting.
OpenAI, they're not in the hardware production space.
No, but
Google is.
They've purchased a company that will allow them to do it. So,
but Google already does that.
I know. It's going to be interesting.
Google makes their Pixel like iPod
I wonder
competitors.
if Google's got spies kind of going into OpenAI, infiltrate them, trying to figure.
Most
special sauce is going.
Most certainly. There's secret money being passed around for secret.
It's going to be interesting, right? But I think some people are thinking it's going to be a pin. I don't think it's going to be a pin.
Because didn't they buy the pin company?
IO. Yeah, it's called IO, right? I think it's going to be something that goes behind the ear, not into the ear, but behind the ear, and uses bone technology so that you can hear it. Nobody else can hear it.
But how are you going to power it? That's the thing. Something that small behind your ear you're going to need to put a battery somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless you use heat from your body.
I don't know.
Can you do that?
I don't know.
Like geothermal, but on your head?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though. I mean, there's no doubt that that's where the industry is moving, right? They're not spending so much time on phones anymore. Where they're really starting to go now is more to the wearable issue. And that's why I and others think that these phones, as we know them today, in the next 5 years is what I say, will not be what they are today. I think we'll go back to a basic flip phone, or this device will do it for you, right? It'll be a phone, it'll be all that kind of stuff. So, anyways. Okay. Oh, this one really torqued me.
Reports coming out, Meta earning estimated from a 2024 annual revenue report, $16 billion from ads, promoting scams, illegal gambling, banned products. Custom estimated showing users 15 billion high-risk scam ads every day, generating 7 billion annually.
Which they knew were scams, right? That's what the reporting.
These were apparently from leaked documents from Facebook Meta.
So if it's true, if those leaked documents are true, and they knew that these things were frank and fraudulent, well then, what the hell? Now, reading the article, they said that, and apparently the U.S. government is investigating, and if it's true, they're going to be fined big bucks. But the big bucks, the maximum they could be fined is but a drop in the bucket for them, right? So from a risk management standpoint, it's cheaper for them to pay the fine than it is to deal with this issue, right?
Apparently they have a penalty bias where there is a 95% confidence rate before they determine ads are frauds or scam. Otherwise, if they are suspected of maybe being fraudulent, they will increase the costing per ad.
It's just, come on, Meta. Like, what do you guys do? And this just screams more about putting proper legislation in place and consequences to actions. And I know what you're going to say. You do it, and if you do that, they're just going to move to another country where you can't do that. Yeah. Maybe. But come on. Like, if you know you're defrauding people and you're allowing that to happen, how ethically can you let it happen? You're doing it for one reason only.
The challenge is you have to make a determination of if I'm selling a supplement, whatever that might be, how am I, as Facebook Meta, going to determine if that supplement is legitimate or not? Because
the same articles, or several of them, were saying that people were messaging Meta saying, hey, listen, just to let you know, this is being published on your site. They're fraudulent. It's not real. Deal with it. And they weren't dealing with this stuff.
People also message Facebook Meta about gender-neutral bathroom articles on that.
I know.
So, I mean, like, you can't take an allegation that Facebook receives and always have to act upon it as true.
But
right?
Yeah, depends, right?
Because if that were true, then that would be weaponized.
Potentially, but then that's the responsibility of Meta to look into this, right? Like, that's where
Fair.
that's my belief, right? Like if all of a sudden, like they're now even saying that even when police departments notify some of these companies of crime taking place, they're not taking their calls anymore.
But the thing is, you have to prove the crime. You're innocent of proven guilty, right?
Right.
So you have to prove in court that the crime did occur.
Okay,
like if I'm a company and I take action on an allegation of a crime,
Yep.
am I not?
But what if, and again, several articles and very well sourced articles, be it where law enforcement is notifying a big player in this space that they've got child sexual abuse material. Here's the link. Here's the material. Take it down, and they're not. Where's the ethics in that, right?
I think that comes into wouldn't they have like a legal challenge if they have a reviewer actually going to one of those?
Don't know.
If I am a company and I get sent a link going, hey, this on your site contains illegal material, and I as an adult access that, not as a member of law enforcement, am I not potentially committing a crime?
Here's the other thing.
So why would I take your word for it? Again, you have to prove that in court.
I agree, but
which will take forever to get done.
But what if let's talk about the iCloud for a second.
Yep.
Right? Like there are a ton of child sexual abuse material that is on iCloud, and Apple has publicly said that they don't scan iCloud pictures.
They do. So no, iCloud is not encrypted.
They don't scan. There's technology out there right now that would allow them that as long as the CSAM image has been digitally hashed,
yep,
they have the ability to programs out there where they could scan for those hashed images on that cloud and nuke them or even potentially report it to law enforcement. But they're not doing it.
Yep.
Right? And they haven't done that for years. And so I've got an issue with that. That's me personally.
I understand why they're doing that, because all it takes is a government in a region, much like how Apple bent the knee to have servers in, say, China, and they allowed the Chinese government in order to have access to everything on the Apple servers, right? Apple has, and now that was financially motivated, right? Because that they can make a lot of money by being in that country.
Right.
So the challenge would be, if Apple were to do that, what would stop a country that they're in from adding more images beyond those illegal images?
But the only issue I have, and I agree with that, but what if the image has been digitally hashed and identified by a reputable organization, be it the Canadian Centre of Child Protection, the Canadian Centre of Child Protection?
Prove it in court.
No, you don't have to. No, you don't. Not for when it comes to child sexual abuse material. Like, if the image clearly portrays a youth under the age of 18 in a non-consensual way, or even if it's in a consensual way, like, it's child sexual abuse material.
Yep.
Like, therefore, and if you're keeping it on your server, well, it was hashed. It was the Canadian Centre of Child Protection or the National Association for Missing and Exploited Children in the United States. So, highly reputable. All right, within the courts and all that kind of stuff.
But it wasn't a judge who made that determination.
No.
Right. So an organization that might be politically funded and motivated, right? And they're the arbiters of what images move off of iCloud.
Yeah, but I think we would all agree that these images that are hashed by NCMEC in the United States and the Canadian Centre of Child Protection is going to fit that
I would hope so. I would hope they have oversight
because
and they have regulations.
If there wasn't, and it was proven that they were doing things they shouldn't be doing, then there would be significant consequences to their businesses, their organizations, whoever they are. But I just find it incomprehensible. Like, if I owned Apple and I was told that there were these hashed child sexual abuse material on my cloud, on the server that I own, I would be telling my people, nuke that stuff.
Oh, most definitely.
Nuke it.
Easy.
Now,
but it depends. It's the authority of the person informing you. How do you know that if it wasn't determined by a judge in a courtroom, a court of law, who becomes that arbiter?
I believe we have to look to those organizations that are well respected within NCMEC in the United States, in Canada, the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, who work extremely closely with law enforcement and the courts on issues. Now, as the employer, I would say nuke it. The next question is should Apple be reporting who owns the IP, right? Of where that image was hosted. Now I think we have a legitimate argument specific to only if the child is in danger and needs immediate assistance, right? Like if something's being streamed and you can see a child who's being physically abused in real time, then I think there's an exigent circumstances that I would say to Apple that, yeah, you at that point in time, I would be notifying law enforcement. However, if all they're doing are taking these hashes and then checking on their cloud to see if those are there and then nuking them, and that's all they're doing, I think they should be doing that. Do I think they should be taking who owns those images, all their personal information, and providing that to an external organization without warrant? I have a problem with that, right? So that's where I think that line is. Now, some people would say, well, I don't have a problem with that because you know what? If we're breaking the law, then just, no.
We do live in an era where people in society, we do kind of treat people guilty until proven innocent, which is not how things work. But I think in the social media era and allegations, I do think people treat it as guilty for.
Or what if it's a doctor who took a picture for medical purposes of a teen under the age of 18 and for whatever reason was cloud because she maybe does through security on those types of things.
What if it's a teen that takes their own selfie?
Yeah.
Technically in some places that's protected free speech.
Yes. So that's where the argument is. But I still think the issue should be, okay, if it's hashed, nuke it. Just nuke it. Do your due diligence, do the ethical right thing and nuke it. When it comes to providing the personal identifiable information of who owns that, well, then maybe what I would be saying to an agency is, you know what? We've nuked this picture. If you want to know who owned that picture, then give me a warrant.
I can see that because it comes back into my first issue. If we are trusting not a court, not a judge to make these arbitrating decisions on what images get deleted, what if they make a mistake?
Yeah.
Right. And now I, as a company, hand over the data of a user based on a mistake from some privately employed person who might be paid minimum wage. Who knows?
So here's an idea. So just brainstorming this, right? Like, okay, Apple they take the hashes, they're searching for the hashes, they identify the hashes. What they do now is they lock those things down so that they can't be seen. I then notify law enforcement to say, hey, listen, we've nuked these images, they're not there. If you're interested in the person who was posting those images, provide me with that production order from a judge or a justice, and I will do that. But those pictures are no longer going to be stored for public viewing off of the iCloud. I think that shows good due diligence of that, right? They've removed the picture so that it can't be publicly shared. They store it as evidence until such time. And you say to law enforcement, we'll store it for this length of time, right? If you provide me with that production order within that period of time, whatever that is, we will provide you not only with the picture, because you'll need that for evidence, but we'll also provide you with the personal identifiable information of the individual. If not, we're nuking everything. So again, I'm putting the onus, so I'm doing my due diligence, which is removing it so it's not publicly, storing it so that it can be used as evidence, and then saying to law enforcement, okay, we got the stuff, we're going to hold it for this amount of time, do your production order, both done. If you don't do that, up until this length of time, we're nuking everything. I think that's a good balance.
I guess it would depend on the government in which the police are located.
Maybe that too.
And
I mean, there's all kinds of factors, but I just think that if there are images on a server on the cloud and they have been identified and hashed by a reputable agency like NCMEC in the United States, Canadian Center of Child Protection here in Canada, then I do think ethically, if I was a business owner like Apple, I would be just nuking them, right? Or at least remove them so that they can't be used, it can't be shared anymore, and then notifying law enforcement that you've done it, and that if law enforcement wishes to get the information, provide me with the production. Anyways, we'll solve the world's problems. Apple, they got to do something, right?
I'm worried about human rights violations is what if those images in question are technically not illegal because maybe they're protected free speech under certain...
But that's why reputable organizations like NCMEC and Canadian Center Child Protection make sure that they fall under that definition, and because if they were, they wouldn't be getting hashed.
So those organizations would have to have an office or people reviewing in each country, in each state, each province. Well, because different places around the world will have different laws on the matter.
NCMEC and Canadian Center, that's what they do, right? They look at these things and then they do hash. And the problem with digital hashing is, as you know, Brandon, all I have to do is take any picture and then change one pixel on it, and the hash no applies. It has to get rehashed. And that's one of the problems, is that these pictures can get reposted and morphed, reposted. But I still believe that because there's Canadian Center Child Protection offers a free piece of software to any company that will allow them to scan for all the hashes, right? They offer it for free, right? And a lot of companies, they're using it, right? But for some reason, Apple, specifically with their iCloud, and they have the ability to do it. Now, the other question, and I understand the why. Remember when Apple said, hey, well, listen, we're going to be putting this stuff on your phone so that it'll scan right on the phone to identify, and they were going to put that, and then all of a sudden they went, hold, we're not doing that anymore.
Well, they put a lot of eggs in the marketing and the privacy field.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So again, it's
just don't talk about the...
I think we can have privacy and safety. I think you can have both. Both can be true at the same time.
Yeah, but then people will just use Signal.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, at least because we know that there are a ton of CSAM on the iCloud, ethically, again, if I owned Apple, which I don't, we should have bought stock years ago. But anyways, if I was the owner of Apple, ethically, that's what I would do, right? I would still be alive to the issues surrounding privacy and finding that balance so that we have that balance between the two, because I think both can be true at the same time. But I do think ethically they should be doing more.
But your shareholders may not like that, and then you'll be held liable for not acting in your shareholders' best interest.
Then fire me, right? Then fire me. And then the next CEO that comes on, you're going to have to face the same scrutiny, right? So, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to look in the mirror and say, am I ethically doing anything here? This is child sexual abuse material. This is stuff that is being hashed by very reputable organizations, and we're allowing it to be stored on servers that we own. No, delete. Anyways, that's just me.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah. Hey, good show. Hey, we got an event coming up pretty soon. What is that event?
We're going to be doing a live show on the 25th, which will take place after the regular Tuesday live show we're doing that day. And we will highlight various different tech products, ideas, opinions, suggestions for families if you're looking at adding new tech as gifts this year for the holidays, some things to consider.
Yeah, some important things to consider. And we might have a couple of surprises. Not going to say much more. I don't want to wreck it. But we might have some surprises going on as well. So what's the date of that again, Brandon?
25th.
The 25th of November.
It'll take place after the regular live show.
Pretty cool.
On that note, thank you all so much.
I'm Darren.
I'm Brandon, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye for now.
Good afternoon, Dr. Court. How you brought yourself to where you are today?
Wanting to be generous and accommodating.
Work with young people.
We decided to do some background research on these three major mobile ISPs, what's clearly prohibited and could in fact be a violation of their terms of service.
We thought this would be an opportunity to create a video about general buying and selling safety tips on the internet.
Created a version 2 that they call the Donashi Scholar, and which is specifically designed for youth.
About a new mobile phone that was on the market called the Wise Phone.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unanswered Questions. Sometimes we just don't get enough time to answer all the amazing questions from students during our live broadcast. Recent bug in Meta, Facebook, and Instagram proves you cannot always trust a password. AI cybercrime is happening right now and is likely going to be happening more. We wish to recognize these extraordinary and outstanding people by